Hello, everyone. It's Deborah Poneman, founder of Yes to Success Seminars, where we offer knowledge and tools for you to live your ultimate life. So, before the pandemic rocked the world, I was in Salt Lake City enjoying the yearly convention of a health and wellness company that I've been a part of for over 30 years. And although the convention was filled with world class speakers and exciting entertainment and mind blowing new products and uplifting award ceremonies, what struck me most profoundly was a story that was shared on the stage by a fellow marketing executive named Janice Walker. Here's what she told us. She said several years ago, she had returned from Africa, where she'd gone to adopt two young twin brothers. She and her husband already had four biological children and two other adopted children. By the way, they now have 11 children, four with special needs. Anyway, she talked about how her joy in adopting these two young twin brothers who were orphaned and fending for themselves turned into anguish after they returned to the States and faced the difficult reality of raising two young boys who spoke no English, had never used a toilet or eaten with utensils, and whose only life experience was surviving as orphans in African bush country. And now they were living in suburban Seattle. And Janice shared that one day it just all became too much for her. And she sat down on the couch feeling that perhaps they'd made a big mistake, and she began to sob. After a while, I don't know how long she said they're sobbing, but she said after a while, these 5 words appeared to her. And the words were, "It's not just about you." And at that moment, she woke up and her entire life shifted. And from that day on, in her family life and her business life, whenever she found herself slipping into a poor me frame of mind, she thought, "It's not just about you." And added, "How can I enhance the life of another? How can I serve?" That was when her life became magical. And then she went on to share how her personal realization was reinforced one day when, after the Seattle Seahawks quarterback, Russell Wilson, was thought to have blown the Super Bowl for his team by throwing an interception in the final seconds of the game. He showed up at the Children's Hospital where one of Janice's sons was having an operation on his cleft palate. Russell was there to make his weekly rounds of visiting the hospital's most critically ill children. And being the true hero he was and still is, instead of wallowing in his loss, he moved on because he knew it's not just about me. Has this been a time of huge change or challenge for you? Does life even seem a bit surreal these days? I just read an article how the polar ice caps are melting and there are fires raging, and of course, daily mass shootings and COVID coming and going and coming again, and on and on and on. One can begin to feel a little overwhelmed. If that's what you're feeling, you're not alone. First of all, according to many ancient prophecies, these times of radical change have been predicted. And while some interpret events like the ending of the Mayan long count calendar several years ago as the beginning of catastrophic times, most think that it signals a shift into a new and glorious era for mankind. And I choose to believe the latter, that we're going through a global shift in consciousness that's opening us up internally. And it just also happens to be shaking things up extremely in the meantime, externally. When you have a loss or even a tragedy, at first there's pain, pure and simple. And I suggest that you allow yourself to feel the pain rather than resist it. You can cry, you can rage, you can rest. And if you do, those feelings can bloom into something else, Maybe even gratitude will well up for the past and the present, and a sense of peace can emerge about the future. And love can fill you with a beautiful depth and compassion for other people who are also facing uncertainty. The Buddhist nun Pema Chodron once said, "We can let the circumstances of our lives harden us so that we become increasingly resentful and afraid, or we can let them soften us and make us kinder and more open to what scares us." I love that quote. We want to let these experiences soften us and make us kinder so that we emerge from the fire of change as more compassionate and more open and more loving. The key is to take time to feel the sorrow or the fear and to know that this too shall pass, to trust that all that happens is ultimately for good. Or as the great teacher Byron Katie says, life is simple. Everything happens for you, not to you. Everything happens exactly the right moment, neither too soon nor too late. You don't have to like it. It's just easier if you do. And if all that is too much to take in right now, let's make it simple and just go back to what our friend Janice Walker taught us when she thought she'd made a big mistake and simply didn't know what to do. Remind yourself, it's not just about me. And I'll never forget how Janice ended her powerful talk when she said, "And the truth is, no matter how bad it gets for some of us, there are many people out there praying for exactly what you take for granted." Have a wonderful week, and I send you my love.